Hello. Before we start today's episode, if you would like a condensed version of what I'm talking about in this podcast, go ahead and subscribe to The Perfectionist Guide. You can read the entire thing in 3 minutes or less. To access this, go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/newsletter. Are you a bit of a perfectionist, type A, hyper performer? Then you know that having the audacity to see an ideal and bring it into reality while breaking generational habits of hustle can be tough, but it doesn't have to be. If you are ready to burn bright instead of burning out, to lead without losing yourself, and to enjoy the life you have worked so hard to create, then keep listening. I'm your host, America's leader on rewiring perfectionism, CLG, and this is Perfectionism Rewired, the podcast. Welcome to Perfectionism Rewired. Today is episode number 91. I know. Can you believe it? 91 episodes together. I want to start off with celebrations. When you coach with me, that is how we start off every call. It neuronormalizes you feeling safe to celebrate yourself and a bunch of other great things that I detail for you in episode number 79, The Science of Celebrating Yourself. Today, we are celebrating the results that my amazing, fantastic clients have created. One of them did a Grammy performance in interviews with no anxiety medication. Another one sold out her coaching program in 2 hours. Another one is being her silly self in her corporate career at a new job and is not stressing at all about what her coworkers think about her. And another one is having the anxiety that would come up before she was speaking in front of a large live audience. And she looked in the mirror and she said, "I see you, I love you." And anxiety is not making the decisions anymore. She was able to enjoy her talk, be present and grounded in her body. If you're like, wow, that sounds really amazing. If you're nodding your head yes, listen closely because I might have the solution you've been searching for. My Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator, a 6-week, highly individualized one-on-one coaching experience designed exclusively for perfectionists like you. Your perfectionism is actually your greatest asset, and leveraging it can be hard work or take years of guesswork. That's why in Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator, I give you my key frameworks to taking charge of your Ferrari drive, proven to work even for the most type A, high-strung, stubborn perfectionists. In the first 30 days, you will cut your burnout in half. Increase your professional fulfillment by at least 150%, and your self-compassion will go up at least 250%. And that is just your first 30 days. So if you want to save yourself years of trial and error, go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/accelerator today. Or if you want to take the easy way, just click the link in the show notes to check out the Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator. I created a tool to diagnose imposter syndrome at a holistic level. I call it the S.M.E.A.R campaign. It is a fail-proof way for you to get a clear snapshot of how imposter syndrome is showing up for you. I don't usually like to look up definitions to things, but when I looked up the definition to S.M.E.A.R, I was like, oh my God, it was made for imposter syndrome and to be the antidote. S.M.E.A.R is something that is both a noun and a verb, and it means to assault and attack, a thing that cannot be seen or heard clearly. It's a false accusation intended to damage someone else's reputation. It's also called a mark or streak of a greasy or sticky substance. And it is a censure of someone or something on the basis of perceived faults or mistakes. Before I came out of the coaching closet, I spent 20 years in the public relations industry. And there, I developed the ability to bring anything into reality. I worked with the most important people on the planet. I worked with LeBron James, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, Gloria, James Cameron, et cetera, et cetera. And what I did there in PR, and especially with smear campaigns, is the exact same thing that we do with you and imposter syndrome. There are perceptions and there is reality. And your perception of yourself is what creates your reality. What you're getting from me is something that is not being taught anywhere else in the industry. Everything that I have, I've actually created. It is what makes my approach to imposter syndrome utterly unrivaled. Using the smear campaign tool is absolutely imperative and needed, because if you are just taking the thought model, or if you are just taking plain mindset or plain thought work or plain facilitative coaching, it is like you are taking a knife to a gunfight. We have developed this attachment to imposter syndrome instead of using it as information for ourselves. This is why mindset work alone and the thought model, or just, fucking the fear and running yourself over, doesn't work. And it is not a sustainable solution. I am here as the global ambassador for imposter syndrome to let you know it's a very, very harmful way to be dealing with something that is way more complex than what the surface symptoms appear like. When you are feeling like a fraud or are experiencing any flavor of imposter syndrome and what it gives you, the core of it all is fear. We are not dealing with your prefrontal cortex. We are dealing with the limbic system, the actual root cause of not believing in your self-worth, not feeling deserving, not trusting yourself, not having your own back, people-pleasing, perfectionism, overworking. All of that goes back to the limbic system, and specifically your amygdala. When you are thinking, I just need to do more thought work, I'm just not trying hard enough, I'm going to overcome you and shut the fuck up, feeling like a fraud, I'm not going to listen to you, and you stuff it back in the closet, that only serves the amygdala and the part of you that is actually causing this fear to get even more riled up. Think of that piece of your brain as a small child, as a 3-year-old, and it's crying or freaking out. And then you're yelling at them and you are telling them that it's a problem. And you're like, what's wrong with this? Why isn't my imposter syndrome going away? The amygdala is the fear center of our brain. If you take your hand and you put your thumb into your palm, your thumb is your amygdala. And then when you fold your hand over your palm, that is the neocortex, the more advanced part of the brain where we do our thinking. This is where thought work occurs. This is executive decision making. This is higher level thinking. This is what separates us from reptiles. When you get activated with imposter syndrome, the amygdala freaks out. And your lid pops off, like you flip your lid when your fingers like pop up and straight up. And what happens then is that you don't have access to your neocortex. You don't have access to your higher level thinking brain because your limbic system is in charge, and your limbic system will always take over. Your limbic system is where that inner toddler, or some people call it inner child work, live. All of that patterning and conditioning that you've picked up from childhood throughout your life as your brain and your nervous system was still developing, which happens until age 25, you were learning, here's how I survive. Even if you weren't in actual literal life or death situations, it's literally like, here's how I survive. Here's how my parents praise me. Here's how I get the gold star on the Student of the Week chart. This right here is why imposter syndrome is such a mind fuck to intellectual people. When you have a lot of intellect, when you have a bunch of degrees and you're like really advanced in your career, you are used to using your neocortex. That's why you're in the position that you're in, right? It's all the neocortex. And the neocortex is the part of your brain that asks, how can I thrive? You are unavailable from accessing that when your limbic brain is activated. How can I thrive? How can I problem solve? How can I respond? It's utterly unavailable to you. You cannot access it. Access denied. When the amygdala is taking over, it is when that toddler inside of you is saying, hey, listen to me. Hey, I'm full of fear. And like, no, I don't want to go on Instagram Live today and promote my business. I didn't get chosen for the award. And that means that I'm a failure. And whatever those stories are that exist inside of you. Like, I went on a date with this person and then they ghosted me. They didn't text me back within an hour. And that just means that I've been abandoned and I'm going to die alone and nobody loves me. I get that this doesn't sound rational, but that's the point. Have you ever bartered with a 3-year-old? Like, they're not rational and we love them because of that. It's the same thing with these inner children that we have inside ourselves, pretties. Until you come into inner harmony with your fears, they are going to keep driving the bus. They are going to keep kicking you out of the driver's seat. They are going to be steering the direction of your life because that's their job. They are meant to freak out your nervous system or to put you into fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. They are deciding how you're going to think and feel and act and do in every moment until you let them know that, hey, you're a grown-up that they can trust, until you let them know in a way that they can hear you, right? Speak into their language. Hey, I'm not going to abandon you. Hey, I'm not going to hurt you. Hey, I'm not going to judge you and I'm not going to shame you and I'm not going to blame you. Like, until you become the leading lady adult that you have been waiting for, here to take tender care, they're going to continue driving the bus. I created this S.M.E.A.R campaign of imposter syndrome tool that I'm sharing with you so you can understand the experience and what you're dealing with. The S is for source, sourcing the situation that you are in, and to do your best to extract the facts. I give you a bunch of different ways that you can do this inside the Imposter Syndrome Cure. A way that you can do that today for yourself is to get pen or pencil or crayon or marker, some writing utensil in your hand, and then a physical piece of paper. You want to do this instead of typing because it helps slow down your brain and calm your nervous system when you are actually writing it out. You want to take pen to paper and write down everything that you're feeling. Then you want to get to M, the molasses mentality. This is where it gets sticky. With the example of feeling like a fraud, it's like, okay, what am I trying to manage here? Who am I trying to like influence? Why do I care that I'm feeling like a fraud? You are trying to manage perceptions of yourself. Because when you're feeling like a fraud, I doubt it's when you are taking a shit on the toilet. I have yet to have a client that's like, I'm feeling like an imposter when I'm pooping. It just hasn't happened. The reason why I bring up poop is because it's something that literally all humans do. It really helps to neuronormalize experiences. Think about how you are trying to manage perceptions and also how it can get sticky like molasses, these things that have been stuck on you. What happens with imposter syndrome is we feel like a fraud. I'll use myself as an example. And then I was like, well, I have no reason to be feeling this way. And then what I would do is I would berate myself and I would look at my LinkedIn or look at my literal case of trophies that was in my office. You've done all this. And then I would use it against myself. When we are able to think about the mentality that we have around it and it's sort of being like molasses, we're able to see like, oh, okay, this isn't just like a piece of lint that we're picking up and removing. This is something that has built up over time. And so the sustainable removal of it is going to be something takes a more precise, gentle, and cohesive approach. The E in the S.M.E.A.R campaign of imposter syndrome is the energetic intensity. I use a scale from 1 to 10 with my clients, and you can use that for yourself too. This is where you can use your inner authority from human design to really help guide you. Let yourself answer that question from like, okay, like where is it at? And again, with all of this, we are not judging it. We are not blaming it. We are not shaming it. The A in the S.M.E.A.R campaign is accuracy and action. I want you to describe like a screenwriter what it is that you are seeing, what it is that is happening for yourself. And the A also stands for architecture, your inner architecture. There are 9 keys of your subconscious that all of imposter syndrome can boil down to. And the R in the smear campaign of imposter syndrome is for reactivity versus responding. A smear campaign needs to be matched with as much intentionality. And what happens with imposter syndrome is it's just a reaction. It's like you feel this feeling, you have this thought, this person looks at you this way, this thing happens at work, your partner says this, your child does this, and then we react. Where we want to get to is responding. A question that you can ask yourself is what's underneath there that's causing you to react instead of being deliberate? Your brain will most likely say, I don't know. I don't know. Why is CLG asking us that question? I don't know. And you will be at the IDK parade, maybe at confusion station. Instead, I invite you to say, what if I did know? There are diamonds and rubies and emeralds and gems inside of you once you tell your brain, hey, we're not accepting I don't know as an answer. Before I did all of this work on myself, I was living in mirages and facades of who I thought people wanted me to be. And this is why getting to know what's underneath your unique experience of imposter syndrome, getting to know what's there and really stepping into this role, the role of your lifetime as your own most loving adult, that is what allows you to unlock your authentic true self and to have this delicious relationship with yourself that nourishes you and serves you and cares for you instead of living in everyone else's story. Our own level of authenticity is equal to our amount of self-awareness. So if you're not self-aware, if you don't know all of who you are, it's impossible for you to love all of who you are. I mentioned in last week's episode 90, you get to be the author of your story. In order to do that, you need to be the loving authority of your life. And you aren't right now when you're living in someone else's storyline of you, or when you're half in, half out, like you're sort of doing what you want to do, but you're also really being who your partner wants you to be. Let's have so much love and compassion for ourselves. You did that because it was necessary to survive. You did this mirage. You did all of this because you needed to survive. Like, bravo. And like those survival skills, they were fucking genius when you were an actual child. But now you have the opportunity to embody the adult. You have the opportunity right now. You can be the authority in your life. You can be the main character. You get to be the leading lady. I was going through so much of my life just existing. I thought that that was living. And I'm telling you, the feeling of aliveness and being able to be present in the moment, it is a priceless way to live. It makes all of your experiences and everything that you do that much richer. If you noticed in this episode that holy cannoli, holy wow, I read you like a menu, then definitely go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com. Check out the Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator. The importance of the Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator is that when it comes to all of these frameworks, if you press all the buttons at once, the system will jam, which is why you have me by your side, curating the frameworks to work with your unique flavor of perfectionism instead of against it. If you sign up in August, I give you a personalized book you get to take with you forever, ever, ever that has your own playbook. You get to be part of a wonderful community. It is a private one-on-one coaching experience, but there's also a community aspect to it. It's ADHD friendly. I looked at my best clients and their best results, and some of my clients that were like 70% of the way there. And I said, what could I do to get them to 100%? And I put everything in that along with the best practices. Instead of things taking months or years, we can do them in days and weeks together. I invite you to apply to the Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator. There's a link for that in the show notes. You can also go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/accelerator. It is fail-proof. It is fun. And this is why all of my clients are making their wildest dreams come true. And they're doing it in ways that feel amazing to them. They are doing it without sacrificing. They're doing it with no suffering. This is not based in hustle. We are not taking this from perfecting, from grinding, from overworking, from pushing, from overriding our fear. It's not coming from that place. All of this is coming from a place of deep self-honoring and cultivating that relationship with yourself. This is what allows you to show up for yourself, even when it's hard. This is what allows you to set those beautiful boundaries with other people and with yourself, and to not self-violate. This is what allows you to know yourself and to get curious about who you are and what your true desires are underneath all of the bullshit, oppressive conditioning that you've experienced in your life. These results are made to measure for your life of pleasure, and it is an entirely new way of operating, pretties. If that sounds like something you want, which I know that it does, make sure to go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/accelerator and apply today.